Yo, YouTube, what's the word? It's your boy, man, Cuts, man. Listen, this video right here, I dropped this sometime last year, but as I was just going through all my files and whatnot, I seen this video, man, and I seen a lot of different areas that I didn't cover, so I wanted to give you guys this video again and go over those little bit of details that'll take your work from, being average to the next level. So as y'all already know, to start any haircut, you want to make sure that you comb the hair, lift the hair up off the scalp. And right here we go in with a number three. And the steps that I'm telling you guys may not be exactly what I'm doing, but I know how I cut hair, so I can kind of tell just off what I'm going off. So right here, I decided to start off with a number three instead of jumping into it with a 1.5, just because this client right here, man, has indentions in the top of his head, and that's something that he wants to hide. So I wanted to go on with a higher guard just to see, how much room I had to play with when it comes to them starting to show or not. So show him the mirror. I don't think I saw this on the video, but I showed him the mirror after I cut it with number three. And as you guys can see, he wanted me to go ahead and cut it with a 1.5. So right here, I got the 1.5 blade on my Oscar Model 10s. I'm going in and just smoothing everything out. But I'm sure y'all already know how to cut hair and lay the hair down, man. Just want to make sure after every few little strokes, you come back with your comb or your brush to, lay that hair back down and lift the hair up off the scalp. But I'll tap back in with you guys once I get on the fading part of the cut. So to start this fade off, instead of going in with a trimmer and setting that ball guideline, I go in with my number two guard, and it's all the way open. I'll know in the back of my mind I cut my client's hair down with a 1.5, so I automatically know that number two with the lever all the way open should blend in very nicely at the very top of the taper fade, leaving a nice transition. And after I kind of go into the rim and the range that I want to go with that 2.5 open, I close that lever up, keep that same guard on, that number two guard, and just start to fade right up under where you got that 2.5. And man, starting to fade down and debulking before you start your fades, you'll be surprised how much of a transition and a lot of progress you will make just by doing that one little step right there. If you guys pay close attention, you can kind of start to see the transition already. And after we debulk with our number two, we go on with our Andes cordless T outliners, and we just set in that first initial guideline. And I don't know if you guys know this or have paid attention to other videos or just anything that I've done on this channel, but I like to go on with my tapers based off the client's head shape and their facial structure. I don't like giving clients haircuts that don't fit them. Like, you see some people haircuts, they just, the haircut just doesn't fit them. It's just not faded to fit their head or just whatever the case may be. So that's something that you can keep in the back of your mind and to, always have your haircuts, standing out from your regular haircuts and stuff that you normally do. But after we set in that first initial guideline, we're going with the lever all the way open and we go about an inch. And now I have the lever all the way closed and we're starting to nudge that line out. And man, something that I'm starting to do a lot more now that helps me erase that guideline a lot easier. Instead of going with the lever all the way closed as my first step, as you guys can see, I just did it right there. I moved the lever to halfway. And of course you can get the line out like that. But I noticed that going in with the lever halfway closed and then closing it all the way up helps me get that, line out a lot smoother and a lot faster. So y'all just pay attention to the lever play, man, and I'll tap back in once we get on the next step. And I want you guys to pay attention to how much of my blade I'm actually using to fade this area out. I know in certain areas of the fade it might look like I'm using the entire blade, like right here, but man, I promise you guys I'm using no more than 2 to 3, maybe 4 teeth of the blade, man. When you fade in a tight area like this, you don't want to stretch that fade too much. You want to keep the fade in the type of form that you already envisioned it in. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind, man. And like I said, when we get on the next step, I'll tap back in. But just pay attention to that little bit of detail, man. It'll take your work from being average to amazing. I promise you. So after you blend out that first guideline, what you want to do is follow up behind that with the number one guard all the way open. And every guideline that you set in, you want to make sure you stay in that form that you're already going in. So if you're following my steps and you're going in with a circle formation or whatever, you want to make sure the entire time you're fading, you're staying in that formation, and you're only going up about an inch for each guideline. If you go any higher, if you start to do another form, you could potentially destroy the haircut, or it just could take you a lot longer than what it needs to be. So again, stay in that form, go up about an inch, and just keep everything consistent, man. And I'm not sure if I do this in this video, but something that I like to do now is follow up with that number one guard, keep it on. And you know, the lever, you start off with the lever open, and what you want to do, I actually did it right there, so I'm glad I'm talking about it right now, is just follow up with that with the lever all the way closed. And all that's going to do is essentially just break that guideline and just going to, you know, kind of break it down, so when you come back with your number zero guard, your 0.5 or whatever, it's a lot smoother to get that line out. So y'all just keep paying attention to how much of the blade that I'm using, and you know, and I'll tap back in once we on the next step, man. So after you get everything blended in and you do all your work with your number one guard, what you want to do is follow up behind that with your number zero guard, your half guard, your 0.5, whatever you guys call it, and start to nudge that line out. And in this video, I go in with the lever all the way closed, then I go halfway, then I open it up. What I do now is I start, you know, lever all the way open, then go halfway, then close it up. So now I have more of a fading down technique rather than fading up. And I just found, for me, fading down is just one of those things that I can keep my fades, you know, nice and tight and nice and low if that's what I'm aiming to get. And I feel like I'm a lot faster when I fade down. But again, in this video, as you guys just saw, I go from closed to halfway to all the way open. And I mean, you guys can see, man, is the fade already starting to come in there. Of course, we got some dark areas that we got to come back and, you know, touch up in detail. But as you guys can see, it's starting to come together right before our eyes, man. So that's a good thing with it. So after you do all your work with your 0.5, your half guard, your zero guard, what you want to do is start the detail. So what I do, start the level all the way open, and any dark spots that I see, I just start to flick them out. And when you detail it, man, you really just want to use at the most 2 teeth for the blade, because all you're aiming to do is take the blade off your clipper and just kind of split those hairs to get those dark spots. And right there, what I'm doing is just laying the hair down. I'm using a technique called the raking technique, and that's just literally raking the hair down, smoothing it down to get that, you know, nice blurry transition that we're looking for. But y'all just continue to rock out, man, and just, you know, check your boy out. And like I said, just pay attention to the little detail, and you know, y'all achieve the same fade, I promise you. And right here, I go in with a number 3 guard, just getting the top of that, you know, fade, because I see a lot of dark areas just because my client's hair is a lot denser in certain areas, and just detailing, man. So once we get on the lineup footage, I would tap back in. And just remember, man, anything that you guys do to one side, you do to the other. So what I did to this side, the exact same steps that I said on this side are the exact same steps that go on the other side and on the back, you know what I mean? So y'all just continue to rock out, and yeah, I'll tap back in a minute, man. And honestly, man, when it comes to the edge up portion, the best advice I can give you is just to keep everything out at its furthest point. By doing this, you're essentially just making your haircuts last a lot longer, because the growth back ratio is not going to be nothing crazy. You're not taking it back an inch, a half an inch. And essentially all this is going to really do is give you a reputation as not being a barber that pushes your clients back. And it also allows you to be able to charge more. So break it down like this and think about it like this. So if a barber cuts your hair and it lasts you, you just say 3 weeks to a month, you're more willing to give him the 40, 50, maybe 60, depending on where you at. And you know, the prices vary depending on all different locations, but you're more likely to give him that amount of money rather than a barber that haircut only lasts a couple days or just a week, right? You probably, the barber that, you know, haircut only lasts a week, you're probably no more willing to give him no more than what, $20, depending on where you're at. It could be more. Some people, like haircuts like that. But for the most part, most people want to, feel like they're getting their money's worth out of whatever services they're getting. And like I said, man, just make sure you keep everything out at its furthest point. And just make sure your tools are properly tuned and maintained as well, because that goes into it a lot as well, man. You can't expect to go in and lay sharp lines or crispy edge ups, and you haven't changed the blades or oil your blades in over a year. You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure the maintenance is definitely taken top care of for real, man. It'll take you a long way. And all right, so on my client's edge up right here, you guys can see it kind of grows kind of wild and different. So you kind of got to go in and create it. But an edge up like this in the beginning, I guess you could say it was a little intimidating in the very beginning, just because the way it grows, man, it's kind of like, where do you start? But all you got to do, man, is literally start and find the point of the hair that it connects from each vertical bar. So you can kind of see he has a widowed peak, so we automatically have to go in and cut that out. You know what I mean? Don't look at this as a pushback, because this is something that you have to do. Now, some clients, they will tell you, now look, I don't want to cut completely off, because when it grows back, it look crazy. But for the most part, man, most clients are going to tell you, get rid of that widow's peak. Give me a nice, straight, natural, edge up. And my client already know. We talked about it, plenty of times, especially since this video. In order to give him, a nice symmetrical lineup, we have to kind of go into it just a little bit, professionally, instead of, just digging in and not having no knowledge or no, type of game dealing with it whatsoever, right? So this is the way we decided to go with it. And as you guys can see, the lineup is not even done, but it looks a million times better. And that's why I tell you guys, man, the lineup is what makes the haircut. You know what I'm saying? And you guys can see right here, we just literally start where we left off with that line and just playing connected dots. So you guys just continue to just rock out, man, and just to watch any techniques that I do in this lineup. And if you have any questions on it, man, drop it in the comments section. I'm gonna try my best to get back to each and every one of you guys' comments. You guys have been showing a lot of love when it came to me dropping these shorts, and just showing love to the channel as a whole. And if you leave a comment, I just so happen not to get to it, man, all my social media links will be in the description. Go on there and follow me, and DM me any questions or just any requests that you would like to see on the channel, man, and we'll definitely make it happen. So again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And if you just learned anything informative in this video, man, if you find anything helpful, drop a like for me, leave a comment in the comment section and tell me what you found informative and what helped you. And also, turn post notifications on as well, and hit the subscribe button and everything else. Y'all know what it is, man. I appreciate everybody, and until next time, y'all be blessed.